Hey everyone! See, zero! Yeah, it sounds weird when I'm using this on my OC. Anyways, this is just a tutorial of how I draw. Oh, and after this, I'll be giving you a QR code of the line art brush I use, because most of the brushes I use are just the default ones. Except for my line art brush, because that's one special. Okay, let's start this. 3, 2, 1, let's go! I start with a simple sketch using the dip pen hard. Yes, I know many people use this as for line art, but I use a different brush to use line art. But sometimes I use the dip pen hard for line art. So let's start with a simple circles and a few sketches of the body parts, because it's hard to sketch the anatomy without the sketch. But sometimes I mostly draw without the line art. Let's take an example with this picture over here. But anyways, let's start right now. As you may see, the reason why I started to sketch is to draw, the anatomy is kind of hard, that's why. Well, after the sketch, we'll be using my favorite line art brush. I really forgot where I got this brush, because been using this for about 1 month and I get easily forgot. Alright then, I'll be giving you the QR code of the brush, so here it is. Now, as you may know, what I hate about drawing this is because I really hate drawing hoodies so much. And drawing this character, you already know who this character is, because I've showed this character a lot on my channel. I think someday I might gonna stop posting a lot of Underworld office related stuff and start posting my OCs after the Gacha Club music video has been released. And drawing his hoodie was almost felt like drawing Hydro. Heck, I even made the alternative one with Hydro instead of Eugene. Ha! Mine, I mostly keep my line art separated, because I don't want to add any more mistakes right now. If I made a mistake, I might gonna go to that layer and fix it up. That goes for every time that I try to color, because I don't want to mix it up and get confused easily. Now then, let's go. Start using the bucket for coloring. But if I love something like this, I mostly use wait, hold on a second. Sorry for the pause. I was trying to find out what's the pen is called, and it's called what? Well, it's called a felted pen, soft, and I have to lower it. But sometimes I can use it sometimes if I can't even color it to some place that the bucket can't reach. So yeah, like I said, I mostly keep the colors separated in each folder because I don't want to get confused. Yeah, I had these kind of little things on the hair, those kind of lines, and then sharpen it up. Sometimes I usually have to keep them separated before I merged it, because I don't want to end up another mistake. Because yeah, I've already said a lot of mistakes here, because I don't want to end up those things, because it's hard to erase them if I merged it an accident. So yeah, after that, it's time to shade. The shading I use is still the felted pen soft, but sometimes I use the lasso, and make sure you use the lasso fill. Usually how to use this, you have to go to that special pen and pick the lasso fill. So you can usually erase it to make it more better. And then after that, make sure your folder is multiplied, and then add another folder and then put it on add. And usually I use the airbrush and lower its opacity. And then another thing was to add the highlights. Now then, I have 4 highlights that I made, but I'm gonna pick this one because this one's much more easier. And I use this highlights for this. The others I use this for the other artworks. Let me show you some examples. Now that's better. Now let's go shade the skin. We can also shade the eye and the mouth as well. Oh yeah, the reason I have to do this is to show you how I mostly colored the eyes and the mouth. And yeah, I turned off the clipping mode for the tongue so I can shade the tongue. So now I'll be coloring the eyes as well. As you may see, this is how I really colored it so much. So yeah, you may call me lazy if you want. Sometimes I need to, click the eye icon on to make the hair layer invisible for a while, and then put it back on. Alright, now let's shade the clothes. As you may know, I still use the same pen, the felt tip soft pen, and start shading the clothes, including its edges. And I duplicate the layer here. Oh yeah, make sure this one is usually multiply, or if you have a shadow color of it. Alright then, sometimes I have to lower its opacity, but grab your blur brush and blur the shadows, and then open it up and lower the opacity. Now that's better. Let's add some highlights and shade them all, and also add some highlights on the edges of the clothes. Well, was that the right thing to call it? Well, I don't know. Also, once you're done, you can now color the line art, and this is the reason why I usually keep it separate, but when you merged it, you have a hard time coloring it, and I've really had a hard time because I accidentally merged it. Dang. But, so, also if you're going to color some glasses, make sure to do it in a separate layer, because you're gonna have a hard time with it. And that's about it. I'll be coloring. This is gonna be an finished picture, but this is how I usually draw a character. Later, I'm just gonna add some background in it. I'm just gonna post this on Instagram and Facebook. And that's about it. Well, I hope this tutorial helps, but if I sound lazy, then I'm sorry. And if I sound cringy, I really am sorry, but I tried my best. So, bye!